Hey, my name's ShawNshawN. I sell art on ShawNshawN.co and screen reads on ShawNshawNActing.com. Today we're going to review the Protege. Sweet spot of hour and a half, a little longer, but I don't think there's too much dead space here. Actors are Maggie Q plays Anna. Is that her real name? Samuel Jackson plays Moody. Michael Keaton plays Rembrandt. David Rintoul plays Edward Hayes. Patrick Malahide plays Vohl, the arch nemesis. So it's a story of a young girl, Anna. She's grows up in Vietnam, little kid. She's found by an assassin, and the assassin comes in, and this whole gang has been shot by this little kid, and he's like, what's this? He takes all the money and rescues her, takes her out of the country, and kind of mentors her later as, obviously, as an assassin. So fast forward 30 years, they're doing a job, and then after the job, he's like, hey, I got this person I want to investigate. And she starts to, sends it off to her person to investigate. And then she comes back and everyone on the team's been assassinated. Her mentor, the guy looking into it, the maid, and, several people have been killed just for this one mysterious person that disappeared 20, 30 years ago. And she's like vows vengeance to get her mentor, right? So that's a great build-up for a story. Vengeance tale, I always like a good vengeance tale. I come from a vengeance-filled family, so we can relate. So that was, a really good thing. And it was also cool because they kind of unrolled her childhood story over several sections through the film. They kind of sprinkle through there. So it's kind of a really nice add to the film because it kind of builds more depth to her character as you go along. It's always a fun role to see a female assassin, I think nowadays they've gotten to this kind of, it's very in vogue lately. I think they've done 7 or 8 back-to-back over the last couple of years, a lot of female assassins. In reality, I think a real female assassin, I think they would exist. They would use a lot more subtlety and secrecy and sneaky operations like poison. They might kill a guy in his sleep after they sleep with him, or use a sniper position. But, direct hand-to-hand combat, I don't think would be used that much, because if she went against anyone that had any kind of physical training and fighting, they probably would beat her as a male on top of a female. But it's a movie. Hollywood likes to do it. It's fun. So it's fun to see those kind of films. I don't know if it's making unrealistic expectations for women that they can take on men, but whatever. There's a fun twist of the main character. One of the main characters killed off early in the film. You're like, oh, well, that was kind of shocking. And then he's brought back later, and you're like, why the hell is this guy popping again? And then he's popped off again, so you're just kind of like, what is this film going? It would have been kind of cool to have that person killed off early, because it's shocking. I remember in Mission Impossible, I think it was the very first one, they had Emilio Estevez, who was kind of, he was a good actor. He wasn't as big as his brother. What's his brother's name? Charlie Sheen. But he was a decent actor, and they kill him off right in the first scene. You're just like, what the hell is going on? He just killed off a main character, right? So, that's kind of a fun thing if you do in a film, but if you bring him back, you're kind of like, it's kind of a little bit lame screenwriting a little bit, but in this case, it kind of makes sense. But again, it kind of softens the story impact, I think, on the audience by bringing back a character you killed off again. There's the idea of a small assassin and her team could be able to kill off a whole mafia crew. Well, in this case, just the mafia boss. It's an interesting idea, especially since the mafia boss knows it's coming. If the mafia boss didn't know it was coming, it'd be an easy hit job, right? But if he kind of is prepared ahead of time, I think it takes more planning. So this is kind of an interesting take on that scenario. Mafia boss would obviously be taken on all the time by various mafia bosses, so it's not out of the woodwork, so to say. There's a sex scene in the film between Maggie Q and Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's pretty old now, 60 plus years, maybe 70. So they didn't show the sex, which is fine. I mean, I don't think anyone wants to see a 70-year-old man naked, but, they didn't show any of her nudity. She gets on the bed, she's covering the sheet. Probably I think this is due to the actress. She probably didn't want to be seen nude, and so she didn't show nude in the film, but it's inconsistent with the character. I think if you're an assassin, you'd be ruthless, and you would do anything possible to be able to kill someone. And the guy she's sleeping with is another possible assassin, bodyguard, so I don't think she'd be shy at all about being fully nude. So I think that would have made it a little more plausible. Maybe it's just I want to see her naked, but I think it's just inconsistent with the character. I think she would have just been not prudish at all and just been very bold. If you're an assassin, you got to be a bold type of person. But fine, you know, it's a movie. So this has a fun use of Samuel L. Jackson in the film. It's always fun to see him in a villain role. He has a great versatility, a lot of funness to his character. They have a lot of old characters in here, 67-year-olds with these fight scenes. And you're like, this isn't very unbelievable. I don't know how many 67-year-olds that would go toe-to-toe against a full assassin. Even if they were trained assassins, I mean, they would obviously fight to the death if someone challenged them. So I guess that's possible, but they wouldn't be active duty. Like, Michael Keaton's still in active duty as a bodyguard, but he's like 70. He's like, I mean, he'd be a boss of the assassins maybe, but still, I don't know. It's just kind of a little bit unbelievable there. But it's a movie. You know, these are fun characters. People have seen them for a long time, so, you know, people overlook that, I think. But it's a fun film. Probably good for once or twice to see it. I'd recommend it. If you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And I'll see you in the next movie review. Thanks for watching, guys.